Hello and good evening and welcome to Beyond the Boundary once again. आप देख रहे हैं TOI Sports and today we are going to start our build up to the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. It's exactly 1 week remaining for the first Test match, and there's going to be a lot of discussion. And as the situation heats up, is what I can say. Really, the Indian team already practicing at the Waka in Perth. Uh, छुपा के practice कर रहे हैं and they're keeping things close to their chest what they're trying to do, but we have some lowdown on it. And to discuss all of that, with me Chetan Narula, we will have a full panel. We have K. Srinivas Rao, Group Sports Editor, Times of India, and we have the Payan Datta all the way from Chennai, with Manuja Virappa also joining us shortly. So Srini and Dopayan, welcome to the show. And you know what? We are finally building up to the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Exactly 1 week remaining for the first Test match. And build up to फटाफट निकल जाएगा. This was supposed to be the start of India's 3-day practice game at the Waka, which was called off. They'll be doing match wicket practice, center wicket practice from tomorrow. So preparations have started. Preparations have started in full swing. What have you made of the build up so far, Srini? Let's start with you. How excited are you for this series, and then we'll come to Dopayan.
I love how kind of the entire Australian the country, the media, the ex-cricketers, even the fans actually become the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th member of the squad. When a series of this magnitude approaches. We've seen this happen in the past. I remember it's still fresh in my memory when in 2016, 17, when the Aussies had come here and Donald Trump was had just been elected, and they branded Virat Kohli as the Donald Trump of world cricket. And it just so happens that Kohli has landed in their backyard again, and Trump has just about won the US elections. So, I mean, that time Virat Kohli showed them the mirror. This time we are hoping he does it again.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be hoping for some big runs. Or Virat Kohli ko leke, the mind games have absolutely begun. Whether it's the Australian media saying कि ये इनका farewell series है, or Ricky Ponting and Gautam Gambhir exchanging barbs. Dopayan, India, Australia. Whenever you're engaging with Australia, you expect this, and I think that is truly underway now.
Yes, that has always been the case. The Australian media kind of works as the 12th man, and if you call them 13th man, they are always like that. They have always been like that. But uh, the way we also kind of work that way only. It's not that it's exclusive to Australian media. The Indian media is also a bit of a cheerleader. It's just that we have lost 3-0 and things have gone slightly awry. So all these things are coming up, but we are very much a part of the cheerleader team of the Indian team. We become like that as the series goes on. So it's not much of a difference there, but yes, माहौल तो बन रहा है कि, and uh, and I do not exactly mind this center wicket practice. Chetan, if you remember that 2013 series, you and I both were together there, South Africa. They called off that game against South Africa A and did that the center wicket practice in Peter Maritzburg. So,
Benoni, was that a Benoni?
Benoni, yeah.
Benoni, yeah.
So not a bad idea actually. Like playing with a more free mind and getting used to it. So yeah, not bad.
Okay, yeah. So the incident that Dopayan is talking about is 2013. Us time pe Duncan Fletcher was the Indian coach, and India had just gone to South Africa after Sachin Tendulkar's retirement. And they cancelled their practice match, and they had center wicket practice, and proper nets laga ke. They were, they had match simulations. And how does a match simulation work? You assume you are 20 for 2 and your bowlers are bowling full tilt, and you strike the ball and you take singles and you strike boundaries, etc. Nets hota hai proper, and you have one center wicket and you have two batters running between the wickets, and you have the support staff standing there as umpire. I think that's how it is, Dopayan, isn't it? Duncan Fletcher as a coach, MS Dhoni as captain was very much into this. आप अगर center wicket practice भी कर लेंगे, that is more useful than net practice, or in fact playing a practice match against one of their local sides or club sides, and 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 आप the philosophy was कि आप एक दिन fielding करके क्या हासिल कर लोगे, that was the kind of description that was there. Srini, what do you make of this center wicket practice, etc., etc.? In your coverage days, have you seen much of it from the likes of from the golden era? Talking about Tendulkar and Lakshman and Dravid and Ganguly. I don't think they were doing a lot of center wicket practice like this, and also the fact ये जो आपने काले पर्दे लगाए हुए हैं वाका पे पूरे कि कोई बाहर से देख ना सके, मतलब क्या somebody commented here कि आप कोई न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब थोड़े बना रहे हो वहां पे, मतलब you practicing, what are they trying to hide? That's my question here.
I don't think so. I think this is just like fodder to, I think keep the media entertained a bit. Other than that, I don't see any logic here and any rhyme or reason. This is just fodder for the media. And I think Virat, and now with Gautam, I love the fact that this combination is there together. ये तो मतलब ये तो यही बात करते होंगे सुबह उठ के पराठे खाते हुए at breakfast, आज इनकी कैसी मतलब मजे लिए जाए type, that way. So I think from that standpoint, I don't see anything other than fodder for the media. Yeah, I mean, what exactly are they doing inside those black curtains? I'm actually very enthused and excited to know.
इनफैक्ट साउथ अफ्रीका के 2018 टूर पे भी ऐसा ही कुछ हुआ था. इंडिया वाज सपोज्ड टू डू वेल इन दैट सीरीज, दे डिड नॉट डू टू वेल. थर्ड टेस्ट से पहले जो प्रैक्टिस हो रही थी, दे हैड दिस होल एरिया एट जोहान्सबर्ग cordoned, and they were practicing there behind that cordon, and it was covered up properly, and you just couldn't see what was happening. So this is par for course for the Indian team. Let's be honest about this. This is par for course. ये होता है, करते हैं ये, and like Srini said, they're just trying to mess with the people who are covering there. It's not easy for them to go and cover, and honestly, it's not something that they shouldn't be allowed to go and cover. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Manuja Virappa joins us from Bengaluru. Manuja, warm welcome to you as well. How are you looking ahead? Just about a week away from the first test. How are you looking up to the Border-Gavaskar Trophy?
I'm very entertained. I think the preview to this thing has been so exciting in terms of everybody having something to say. Some of these, I mean, as rude as I sound, but some of these forgotten Australian cricketers have suddenly resurfaced. Everybody has a too big thing to say about it.
Yeah.
And Chetan, you were talking about this closed-door practice. This is something India did even before the World Cup. They had a short camp at the so a lot of times that they based themselves out of Bangalore, they moved to this out of the city facility called the KSK Alur Stadium, where I remember Rahul had very specifically told the security not to allow the media in.
Yes.
They were not even allowed to sit anywhere near the compound walls.
Yes. No. Look. Yeah. So see, the thing is, I know what you mean there, but Australia, coverage is a little different. It's very open. When you're talking about overseas cricket coverage, it's very, very different. It's very open. And I know for a fact, because luckily I've been on a few tours to Australia. It's not just the cricket media that comes to cover. Virat Kohli is so big, and obviously the Indian team, they're looking at Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shubman Gill and etc. etc. So a lot of news media will also come with their cameras, and they'll be dressed up. Their reporters are properly dressed up, very sharply dressed and all. So they will be also. So it just boggles the mind. Is your age, maybe you are putting those cordons out there, and putting those cordons out there, and
I don't even know if this open net session would have garnered the kind of attention this closed sessions have kind of garnered, right? I mean, right from that black cloth that is being draped around the nets, even that is a talking point now. So clearly the Australian media or anybody else has news from there.
Yeah, and a couple of the media persons.
I mean, just as we the Indian team is
yeah, a couple of media people from Australia who are covering the series. They apparently somehow got through, etc. Thoda time lagta hai, when you're covering in such a situation, thoda time lagta hai to get through, but they managed to get through and get some pictures. And also, let's start build up. Let's bring on. Let's start with the Indian coach, right? He is, after all, the Indian coach. And before going to the BGT, before taking the flight, there was a press conference. He gave a few comments. Let's have those comments. Let's have those comments on screen, and we'll start with K. Srinivas Rao. What he thinks of those particular comments. Gautam Gambhir. uh, this comment I wanted to take it later, but he talked about. Let's talk about the fact that he talked about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, and there was a review meeting as well. You guys can keep talking about transition and all that stuff. For me, they are still very hungry. There's still a lot of fire. You should not doubt their passion for their country. Srini, there's no doubt about that. All of stuff. They want to do stuff. They're very passionate about the country. This and that. लेकिन अगर results नहीं आ रहे हैं, then there is always going to be an inquisition कि क्या हुआ. A 3-0 loss at home is a big talking point जिसमें ना रोहित के runs आए ना विराट के runs आए. Virat has not played a lot of test cricket over the last 1 year, 12 months. But there was also a meeting, right? There was also a meeting about what has happened. Do you have some info to share with us? Give us your lowdown on Gautam Gambhir's comments regarding Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli and what you know about the meeting.
Listen, I'm not privy to any conversation. All I can say is, they're just picking on India's 3-0 loss, a 0-3 loss. I mean, that's it. I mean, right now, forget Ricky Ponting saying something, Michael Clark's grandmother says something, and our guys are just waiting to kind of, take off. I mean, I'm not surprised. And these guys are just up to mind games, and they know what's going to hurt these guys coming in. See, listen, I mean, you're talking about a country, and you're talking about a country which is very proud of the cricketing achievements they have in their backyard, right? And they have lost to a team twice in succession back home. Now imagine how eagerly are they waiting to settle scores, how excited, how annoyed they are at the fact that the very thought that the world thinks that India could just come back there again. Tell me, Chetan, we've all followed cricket, Manuja, Dwaipa, and people. I still hear people who are actually positive about the fact that India can still qualify for the World Test Championship. Tell me, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, would you have entertained a thought like this? We belong to a country that has lost 3-0, back to back on Aussie soil, right? So today we have achieved what we have achieved on back to back tours, which affords us, which allows us to kind of raise our voice, say things the way we want to, and talk about traveling to a country where we've proved ourselves back to back. So this, I think, the Aussies really, I mean, at some point, the Aussies being Aussies are waiting for us to land on their shores and say, "Ab batate hain." No wonder, I worry for them actually. I really wonder if they actually think they know Hindi, what all will they get to hear on the field, with whatever the antics that are happening. But that said, I'm not surprised at all that they're trying to, kind of do the pick on Gautam and Virat and play these mind games right now. I think it
Yeah,
works
yeah.
perfectly for them.
Okay, Dopayan, like Shrini said, this is par for course, but यहाँ पर एक point ले लेते हैं कि can any of this spur on the Indian team? Like Shrini said, you're going to Australia, going to a land जहाँ पे आपने back-to-back series wins रखी हैं. The Indian fan, the average Indian fan, ever hopeful average Indian fan will say कि हाँ भाई WTC का chance है, but we know for a fact you need 4-0, you need 5-0, you can't afford to lose a test. And that's assuming that the other teams, especially South Africa against Pakistan, against Sri Lanka at home, they win all their remaining 4 test matches. So then, if you don't win 4-0 or 5-0, even if you win 4-1, you still need other results to go your way, right? So that is being extremely hopeful. The average Indian cricket fan, ever hopeful, ever optimistic. But let's just talk about the series. Having one back-to-back series over there, क्या वहां पे जाते ही एकदम मूड चेंज हो जाएगा and you'll say, okay, you know what, forget the 3-0 loss. This is a ground, this is a playground that we know. These are conditions that we know, that we have done well here. Even if the nucleus of the side is now changing to the future, we still can accomplish a lot here, potentially win a third consecutive series. Forget the WTC for a moment. You can
Okay, I will.
third consecutive series.
Chetan, I will start off from this Gautam Gambhir's comments. Like what I feel is that the comments that he made, It has a
Yeah,
lot to do with, because after this 3-0 loss, this
yeah,
so much backlash, so much humiliation. So he is kind of trying to be the combative Gautam Gambhir that he is. He is
yeah.
trying to build this we against us mentality, like
Okay.
in the team. It sometimes works. Sometimes coaches work that way. Like a very famous coach who used to work that way in a different sport was Jose Mourinho. He was always
Still
like
does.
that.
Still does.
We
Yeah.
always that we against us mentality. The world is against us. So he is trying to inculcate that thing into this Indian side, and
Hmm.
probably वो माहौल बनाने को की कोशिश कर रहा है कि चलो, and Virat Kohli loves that. The Delhi
Hmm.
boys absolutely love it. कि सारे दुनिया उसके खिलाफ है. So
Yeah.
they absolutely love it. So uh, I think there could be that idea. And another thing about the series, I will say that see, because they are playing on drop-in pitches, and drop-in pitches, they will have to leave a bit of grass on it, because otherwise it gets too flat. So
Hmm.
a little
Hmm.
bit of grass means seam movement, and
Hmm.
if there is seam movement, the Indian pacers are in play. And
Yeah.
don't forget, the Australian batting is no great shakes.
Yeah.
No great.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are struggling, but Australian batting is not doing too well either. So there is a contest there. I don't know whether it's a 4-0, 3-1 or what. I think it's a contest, and the results will be tight. Even if it's a 3-1 in favor of Australia, it's going, all the matches could be tight if they're playing on seamer friendly pitches, because India on seamer friendly tracks, this bowling attack can be deadly.
Yeah, we know for a fact that the Payan is betting big on Australia's top order failing. He's not very confident on Australia's batting, which gives the Payan hope and gives a chance for our pacers. But it's true, Manuja. वहाँ पे आपको swing seam मिलेगा. Swing शायद इतना ना मिले. Perth पे it's a drop in pitch, potentially a drop in pitch. I'm not sure. I think they have shifted to the drop in pitches, but they will leave some grass. There was this news report on TOI. It's a news report everywhere, but it was also on TOI that you can read कि जो वहाँ के pitch curator हैं, he's saying I'm going to have the pitch spiced up. When you mean spiced up, it's going to be pacey, it's going to be bouncy, there's going to be seam movement across Australia. We know that for a fact.
Yes.
Indian pacers will be in play. There's no doubt about it. Let's have the Australian squad if we can. Then we will move on to the Ponting comments. Australia squad, they have picked two debutants in there, Nathan McSweeney and Josh Inglis, right? And
Yes.
the conversation is that they want to open with Nathan McSweeney. So India, I mean, with the new ball and with the new batters at the crease, आप कुछ भी कह लो, कोई कितने भी form में आ रहा हो, you're always starting at zero. You can target the Australian top order. Manuja?
Yeah, absolutely, Chetan. And then if you look at like Dwaipan said, if you've looked at the way Australia has been performing, they haven't been going great guns either.
Hmm.
So there's been
Yeah.
so much of focus on India's whitewash against New Zealand. Actually,
Hmm.
Australia's performance does go under the radar quite often. And
Hmm.
again, even what they've been speaking, I don't know how much of it you take at face value. Even the curator saying maybe another mind game that they're playing of being a spiced up pitch. Uh, that's one way of looking at it. Then you're saying you're going to be you'll open you'll give a debutant the new ball. You don't know
Hmm.
much about him. How are you going to strategize against him? I think a lot of this that he's been speaking about is again boiling down to mind games.
Hmm. राइट माइंड गेम्स यहाँ पर ये तो जरूर कहना होगा कि अभी आपको माइंड गेम्स अगर खेलने हैं तो यू मेक स्पिन विकेट्स फॉर इंडिया, you make turning wickets in Australia,
Yeah.
then you will probably win the mind game. Priyanshu says Australia batting is very fragile. Pant and Head are only in form. Both batting orders will struggle. I know for a fact that Dopayan agrees with you. Just look at the top order. If Nathan McSweeney opens with Usman Khwaja, and then you have Marnus Labuschagne, then you have Steve Smith. Uh, there's Steve Smith, and then you have
Travis
number
Head.
5 Travis Head, and then you have Alex Carey. That's your batting lineup, right? Until number 6.
I think they
From
will
that,
play Josh Inglis also, or Mitch Marsh. One among Josh Inglis and Mitch Marsh.
yeah, I mean it depends. कि
With
आप number 7 पे आप अपना batting
Probably
lineup
Mitch
कैसे
Marsh.
बना रहे हो? Yeah, Mitch Marsh, probably Mitch
Yeah.
Marsh. So Alex Carey at 7 and Mishmash at number 6. That could be an option. Uh, the fact of the matter is, India will always have a chance, Srini, if you use the new ball well, right? And you will be counting on the likes of Bumrah and Akashdeep and Siraj, um, and potentially Mohammed Shami. We'll come to Mohammed Shami in just a bit. But against any batting lineup in seam-friendly conditions with Bumrah in your side, you will bank to use the new ball. And I think इतना discussion नहीं हुआ है. I think throughout the series हम लोग बैटिंग फॉर्म ज्यादा करते जा रहे हैं. How India uses the new Kookaburra ball in every innings, that is going to be definitive. Srini, your thoughts? You're muted.
Chetan, I really beg to differ a bit here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I do understand where you're coming from. I do understand how India handles team is going to be very, very vital to what we accomplish there. And it's the old test match argument, right? Picking wickets, etc., etc. But here is my proposition. First test of a tour as important as this. We need a batting lineup that is capable of putting runs on board. Like, listen, my mind goes back to 2003, okay? When we were going there from a start past, right? I mean, nobody still gave us a chance in 2003. When we were there, a captain, there were doubts in terms of whether he could play the short ball, and the Aussie media, nothing different from what it is today, kind of, hammered it again and again and again down our minds that, we were incapable of handling that stuff. And, the whole pressure was on Tendulkar. And then, a lot of things were said. What happened at the Gaba in 2003? Saurav Ganguly coming up with that 144. Go back and see what that 144 did to the Indian psyche on that tour. It allowed them to kind of think and be confident and reassure themselves that they could stand there and put those runs on board. I think that 144 at Gaba was one of the most phenomenal knocks by an Indian on a tour. Because it set the template for what was supposed to come. And I think from the perspective of what's going to happen at Perth, starting with the first test, what I'm looking at is one or two Indian batsmen of the order raising their bat and saying, yeah, this is what we've come here to do. Stand there. If India wins the toss and elects to bat first, your ability to stand there for a full day without giving away wickets, without throwing away wickets, I don't care a damn about what baseball is or what kind of attitude you bring to a test match cricket or how soon or what your strike rate is, etc., etc. The fact that you can stand there and put runs on board, not give away that wicket, put a price on your wicket. For me, good old test match batting is what I want to see. Once I see that, from there, I'll begin to form a template as to what to expect from this Indian team going further into the series.
I think that's very very important कि आपके पास खड़े होने वाले बल्लेबाज हों, batters who can bat time. I think that's what we are talking about here, and that's going to be very very important because you're missing somebody of the like of Cheteshwar Pujara, who's done that job for you in the past. And before we move on, what Srini said is a great point, but at the same time, we also want to take comments from our viewers or sports fan. He's a regular here. He's asking you, Dwapayan, ki how are you saying that the likes of Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne are fragile in their home conditions? What's your response to this?
It's recent form. Like, they have lost a test match to West Indies not too long ago. And every team has struggled against this Indian pace attack if there is some help for them, be it South Africa, be it England, even Australia. They have struggled, and this Indian pace attack is serious quality. And so there is no reason to believe that Steve Smith hasn't been an insurmountable proposition for India. No, they haven't been. We lost the WPC final, Chetan. They were in a spot of bother. The Travis head comes and plays an outstanding knock, and we didn't have Bumrah. Mind it, we did not have Bumrah. So Bumrah being there is a massive. It will be a massive difference. A fit Bumrah firing on all cylinders Shami has taken 4 wickets. He has bowled. If his body is holding, I think he should be there for the first test. I don't know why but he should not be
Okay.
asked to play T20 matches now. He should.
Okay,
He should be.
we'll talk about Shami. Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah.
Shami. You mentioned about WTC. यहाँ पर एक खतरा जो है, sometimes India can get carried away in terms of conditions. WTC final, we lost it. Why did we lose it? Because आपने conditions के हिसाब से pick किया, but you only picked for day one. Srini was there, weren't you there? Srini, you were there for the WTC final against Australia. Manuja and Srini, I want your thoughts on this. Perth, again, if you give a spicy pitch and you see a little bit of grass, Dopayan said कि आपको थोड़ा बहुत grass दिखेगा और drop in pitches पे आपको ऑस्ट्रेलिया में grass हल्का सा दिखेगा, which holds the pitch together for the first 2-3 days and then it flattens out or whatever. At the same time, just at the hint of grass, you should not alter your plans. I think that is the big learning. I would say that India needs to, yes, what's between your ears, right? Srini, go ahead with you, and then
That's
we'll
it.
take more thoughts.
Do not get psyched out. That's it. No matter what you see, it's as bad as you kind of in the first match of the first test match, first innings, you win the toss and you elect to bat first, and then you come back after the match and say, "Oh my God, hands up! I know that I blundered." Right? I mean, that's as simple as that. You do not kind of get baffled by anything that's there in front of you. Just you should know what your strengths are. Do you have the batting lineup? Do you have the team? Do you have the arsenal to stand in any condition and see a test match off? Yes, you do, right? You do have a decent batting lineup on Aussie shores to stand there and kind of go. As long as you know what your strengths are, do not get too unnerved by what is coming your way. I think it's all here,
Yeah.
and I think mind games. No wonder these Aussies are after us. With those headlines and everything. I
Okay.
mean, they know what doesn't work our way. I mean, I think
Yeah.
they understand it so well.
Let's get Manuja's thoughts as well because she's our resident Ranji expert. Uh, and talking about Ranji Trophy, a lot of our viewers also mentioning this, so let's also bring that template on. Mohammed Shami taking 4 wickets on his Ranji comeback, and everybody's very very excited. Everybody wants him there. Took 4 wickets against Madhya Pradesh in Indore, and Manuja, talk to us about this. Dopayan has already said that agar he is fit enough, agar rhythm hai, sab kuch hai, just put him on a plane ahead of the first test. I think that will be too early. That'll be too much of a rush job. But we're looking at potentially the second test, aren't we? What are your thoughts? And then we'll get Dopayan as well. You're on. Can't hear you.
If
Yeah,
tomorrow Shami is asked to leave, it will.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
So if am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Shami is put on the plane tomorrow, hypothetically, he won't be the first player to do so. If I'm not wrong, it was India versus England, Visakhapatnam. KL Rahul was pulled out of a Ranji Trophy match to play against England. So we've had past this thing, but that was from Visakhapatnam to Visakhapatnam, which was I think about 50 kilometers apart. Here we're talking about India and Australia. So no comparison there. But having said that, Indore, Madhya Pradesh, we all know is a good side. So he's not been tested against some, a plate team. And Indore, from what I've heard from the last few matches that have been played in Madhya Pradesh, they're good seeming conditions. And as we all know, it's that time of the year when your conditions are good. But I think we should see, just see how this match pans out for him in terms of how he holds his fitness, how that holds up, and is he able to bat ball field throughout the 4-day game. But like we were speaking the other day, I don't see a reason why he can't make it for the second test. Probably, especially considering the long gap between the first and the second, and the Prime
Yeah.
Minister's 11 matches with Prime Minister's 11 in between in Canberra. So that probably could be good testing ground. So you still have roughly, I think that starts on December 2nd. So you have about 2 weeks to go between now and then. But yeah, I think Shami will be a great value add if his fitness holds up and his multiple injuries have vanished.
Dopayan, just to add to that, अगर अभी तक उसका वीजा नहीं लगाया हुआ है तो आज तो पक्का चला गया होगा एप्लीकेशन, पक्का चला गया होगा कि just get things ready at least, right?
Yeah,
Brian,
yeah, yeah. It
Shami?
has to be
Yeah,
100%. And it's a given कि वो जाएगा. I don't know why Rohit Sharma jumped the gun and said that he will definitely not go. वो तो मेरे को तो लग रहा है कि 100% जाएगा, unless of course, like I don't know, like I'm sure there was a selector there
mm,
for this game. And
mm,
only thing that you have to see in case of a bowler like Shami is that whether his body is holding or not. Class के बारे में तो कुछ there is no question
yeah,
है ही नहीं ना. So all you have to see whether his body is holding. अगर वो कल उसने 10 ओवर डाला था. I don't know how many overs he has bowled. In fact, it's a volume of overs which is equally important as taking wickets. Wickets up आएगा. Wickets will take care of itself. But the more important thing is the volume of overs that he bowls and whether his body can take it. So I am guessing he has bowled enough. I haven't seen the scorecard yet. So if he has done that, if the selector has seen it, there is no point keeping him here. If you have to send him there. Just send him. Like, please don't make him play that stupid Syed Mushtaq Ali now. So it makes no sense. Shami is at the fag end of his career, and
yeah,
he
nice.
has to be used for these games. We are done. Like T20 V20 हो गया. हम लोग जीत गए, एक वर्ल्ड कप जीत गए. अभी जरूरत नहीं है. आईपीएल के में देखा जाएगा. अभी खिलाओ इसको टेस्ट मैच. और फिर
Srini
And
wants to ask.
and
Srini wants to ask.
visa is the last of the
He's got
problem. If the
90
Indian
overs
government,
today.
visa is the
I
last
know.
of the problem.
visa,
Yeah.
if the Indian
No, I was
government
just
knows that he's fit enough to go, they वो personally उसका passport लेके
हाँ,
जाएंगे जरा.
नहीं नहीं,
बिल्कुल. हाँ,
I'm just saying कि अभी अगर अभी तक एप्लीकेशन नहीं डाला है या वीजा का प्रोसेस नहीं शुरू हुआ है, वो आज शुरू हो गया होगा. 19 overs he's bowled in that innings. He's picked up 4 wickets, and like Manuja has said, कि you have an ample
Yeah.
time. First test, there's just no way. No way, because like Manuja said, you need to see whether his body holds up or not. That is the prime thing because it's a long series. But second test, yes, that's a big probability. So let's talk about this. Srini, let's talk about this whether Rohit Sharma is going to be available or not. Because you only said that you need a good start. And you mentioned about Saurav Ganguly being the captain there in 2003, जो गाबा पे खड़ा होके century लगाया, gave that momentum, gave that start, gave that confidence. If Rohit Sharma is not there, Jasprit Bumrah is leading the side, then you're looking for that confidence from a Bumrah figure, right? Additionally, at the same time, you have a young batting lineup. You have a very young batting lineup. You have the likes of Shubman Gill, you have the likes of Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant had a tremendous tour last time. Shubman Gill had a tremendous tour. Yashasvi Jaiswal, another name that the Australian media has handpicked, and he's the most confident guy out there. Scored 1,000 runs for India as well in this calendar year and all. So, as much as we are relying on big names like Rohit and Virat and Shami and Bumrah, we are also relying on our young bench strength. We're looking at Jaiswal and Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant. If they are to be the superstars of the next 5 to 10 years, this is where it starts. This is when it starts. It has to
Australian
start.
soil, Aussie soil. That's where it all starts. That's where it has to start. I mean, that's where I think. See, that's why when I see so much problems in Shubman Gill and why I have been such a fan of whatever Shubman used to do was because he made his debut trial by fire. It was on the tour of Australia, and kind of out of the blue when he was called, opening the innings wasn't even his forte. He was a middle order bat. They kind of made him open the innings. Did a good job. And then whatever happened in the last two tours of Australia are a prominent example of what has worked for India, which is a baggage-free side. The younger the team, the more inexperienced the team, the more freely they played with nothing to lose, and I think that's what got them the results. Right? I don't see any reason why things can be any different if we hand over this responsibility to a very young team. Once again, see, the more you are part of the more you are part of a setup which has gone on to accomplish things, the more is the baggage that you've collected over a period of time, and then more is the expectation for you to live up to what you have accomplished, right? Taking very young, kind of you put a Sarfaraz out there. Sarfaraz क्या बोलेगा? Like, ठीक है यार, नहीं बने. He's got nothing to lose, nobody to prove to. That kind of Sarfaraz, Dhruv, and Abhimanyu, even Yashasvi for that matter, the kind of attitude that he brings to the field. Top of the order, Rohit has given him a free hand. Yes, we might miss Rohit as the companion up the order, but maybe Rohit not being there might just fuel that kind of responsibility into him in terms of the kind of cricket that he's been playing lately. That said, a young squad, I don't see any problems with it whatsoever. Washington Sundar, I don't know who was saying this. I was with my friends yesterday, and I was just generally discussing Border-Gavaskar Trophy with them, and they are of the view that mark my words, Washington Sundar will be part of the playing 11. I'm just conveying their thoughts. Washington
Okay,
Sundar in the
okay.
first Test
You know,
match playing.
yeah.
I won't be complaining.
This is going to be a major headache for India going ahead, where we'll be talking about Ashwin and Jadeja and Washington Sundar and what's the team composition is going to look like. But first, let's stay on batting. Let's figure out the Indian batting first. Dopain, your thoughts on our young brigade? Somebody just mentioned that Rishabh Pant. Ricky Ponting, we ठीक है, Gautam Gambhir may not like him, but let's he is Ricky Ponting after all. If he says that Rishabh Pant, he picked Rishabh Pant as the top run getter for India. Now that's a great thing and that's a worrying thing. Great thing because Rishabh Pant is Rishabh Pant, and if he scores big runs, then you're getting entertained, and India ko he will put in a commanding position. Why it is a worrying thing? Because he'll bat at number 5 at best or number 6, right? And that if he's scoring the biggest runs, that means the top 4 are not scoring big runs, right? That's a worrying point. So, Ricky Ponting is sending out both positive and negative
I have
messages out there, picking up Rishabh
no.
Pant if you get
See,
my
one thing is I can understand Ricky Ponting's love for Rishabh Pant at this stage because he has kept 30 crores for Rishabh Pant also. Uh, so, so, that is understandable. And another thing is, see, but on a more serious note, say Shubman Gill, if he succeeds, Australia is the place for him because I was looking at a program where VVS Lakshman was explaining it beautifully. He was saying that it is about playing like side. It's those who play on the side of the body. They are good players in Australia. They have
Hmm.
more chance instead
Yeah.
of just playing
Hmm.
behind. So
Yeah.
Shubman's style is that. So Shubman play.
Yes.
And that is why he was successful in Australia last time also. He was thrown into it in Gabba, but he played a fantastic knock. 91 he scored probably,
Yeah.
if I am
92. Yeah.
not wrong. Like the entire thing went to punt, but that innings was also equally crucial. So I think Shubman Gill, if he doesn't succeed here, then there is a question mark बॉस क्योंकि
Okay.
जहाँ इंग्लैंड में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है इंडिया में स्पिन कभी कभी इंपॉर्टेंट जगह पे प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है ये मुझे दिख रहा
Yeah.
है बट
Hmm.
चेतन आई विल जस्ट टेल यू वन थिंग अबाउट
Go ahead.
this thing as we go into this series like we have come from a debacle against New Zealand, right? But I am more worried about two innings which makes me worried. One is that first innings against Bangladesh in Chennai, the first day, and then that 46 against in Bangalore. Those were the pitches which we will get in Australia. Kind of pitch. There will be more bounce, but the lateral movement that is the worrying bit. That
Hmm.
Australians must have seen that. I hope these
No.
guys
Hmm.
have like work on that you have to
No,
play
there's
that
no doubt.
lateral movement that's
Hmm.
going to be the key if we manage that if we get 250 270 runs on the board we are in the game. I'm telling you this series will be a 250 270 run series in each innings. It's not going to be a 450 run series as it
Yeah.
used to be. So yeah.
I agree with you to a certain extent in the sense that was very worrying. Ki jab ball is moving around a bit and it's doing a lot in terms of your lateral movement, not your seam movement, more in terms of your swing, and in terms of the conditions on offer. But at the same time, Australia is a little unlike England. The conditions around you can't really manufacture those conditions. Or आपको unless and until weather patterns change dramatically, you will on from the surface you will have seaming conditions only. You cannot bring in the swing factor early on, perhaps maybe a little bit. आपको कहाँ पे मिलेगा swing? Definitely you'll have it in Adelaide because of the day night factor, pink ball, lights, dew. You will definitely get that swing about. आपको Perth में शायद मिल सकता है, but again Perth and
No,
Gava,
no,
it's all
swinging
about.
is about no swing is about external conditions. Swing is not
Yeah, swing is about
something.
external
Yeah,
conditions, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
and see, yeah,
Yeah,
What the weather
those
is.
conditions, those
Yeah.
conditions again that they can't be manufactured. England में England में आप you are more or less confirmed कि सुबह आपको ऐसे conditions मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे, half the day will be cloudy, etc. Australia में you can't manufacture those conditions, so it will depend a lot on weather. Adelaide, why I'm saying that, why I'm worried about the Adelaide test is precisely because of the pink ball. Because of the pink ball, you will get that movement under lights. Adelaide gets really dewy under lights as well. And, again, it'll depend a lot on weather conditions. But I also have to take Ashwin's comment here. And Manuja, that's where I want you to come in. Srini said we need batters to stay on the wicket. Dopayan says Shubman Gill is. Ricky Ponting says Rishabh Pant, but Dopayan says Shubman Gill. Again, a number 3 batter. So you're talking about number 3 and number 5 batters here. Number 3, Shubman Gill. Number 5, Rishabh Pant. And who are we talking about there? Pujara and Rahane. And both were stellar in that last series. Pujara, last 2 series. Rahane, absolutely in the last series. So, do you agree or disagree here that we have not done a great job of replacing them? Are we going to miss them? To what extent are we going to miss them? What are your thoughts for this young brigade that's going there? Go ahead. 1 second, yeah.
Rahane and Pujara are in the past. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Pujara's style of batting. That said, let's look forward. Traditionally, at least in the last few years, we've had these youngsters who've gone on their maiden tour to Australia doing well. Whether it was a Mayank Agarwal, whether it was a KL Rahul, Shubman Gill last year. We have Abhimanyu Ishwaran going in this year. I don't see a reason why Shubman Gill, entirely different batsman in terms of style, temperament, and flair. But like Srini says, if you can stand your ground, just glue yourself to that crease and see if you can last out a few sessions, if not a whole day. I don't see a reason why it can't be a beginning of something new, if not carrying forward a legacy.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking about Pujara and Rahane at this point of time, those are huge shoes for somebody like Gill or Sarfaraz Khan to be filling purely in terms of the technical skills that both of them bring to the table in red ball cricket.
Okay, and
That's
for
all
the
I think.
first time, yeah. Okay, so Manuja, as our viewers would know, she's always ready with her black and white answers. There's no ambiguity in her answers. So let's put her under the spotlight, right? Let's have that Gambhir comment where he says, गंभीर से पूछा गया था कि अगर रोहित शर्मा नहीं आएंगे तो क्या होगा. Gautam Gambhir replied very simple, and I'm not sure if our viewers will like these two names, but he said KL Rahul is there and Abhimanyu Easwaran is there, right? Manuja, and then I'll go with Srini and the Payan as well. Manuja, your thoughts on this comment, and who do you see opening for India if Rohit Sharma does not make it mind for the first test?
Abhimanyu Easwaran.
Abhimanyu Easwaran. And
I see.
Vishwal,
yeah, Srini. Huh?
Purely because, sorry, Srini, you said something.
I said wishful thinking, or you saying that that's what?
Yeah,
Gautam-
logically or visually. Yeah.
Yeah, visual. I mean, if you're giving me a choice in between KL Rahul and Easwaran, I probably will put my bet on Easwaran simply because of the confidence that or the lack of it that we've seen in KL Rahul in the last series. The kind of dismissals that have this thing. So purely in terms of opening an innings, facing that new ball, I will say maybe baptism by fire or an entire volcano for Easwaran, but I'll go with Easwaran there. And yeah, Gambhir being Gambhir. One of the things that I'm really praying is Gambhir doesn't attend too many press conferences in Australia.
No,
Believe
come
me,
on.
the attention will shift from cricket to everything else.
No, like Dopayan said, maybe we need that. Maybe we need some of that. Look, there are different characters in cricket. That's one thing, and I think Gautam Gambhir is one of those characters. He's probably a very different character than we are used to seeing. I have no issues with Gautam Gambhir attending press conferences. But Srini, your thoughts on this? Do you see? Let's talk about the confidence bit that Manuja pointed out. Confidence की जहां तक हम बात करें, Gambhir said, how many teams in the world have a player like KL Rahul? And to me, that shows the management has a lot more confidence in KL Rahul than anybody else. And that is what matters. What the team management, what the selectors, what the coach and the captain think of him. And they clearly think he's a brilliant player who can open the batting, who can bat at number 6. How many teams have a player like KL Rahul? Your thoughts on this quote?
I agree. How many teams have a player like KL Rahul? I hope he wasn't being sarcastic.
Oh, but don't give us
You
that
know,
smile.
I mean,
Either expand on that. Just don't say that and smile. Give us a proper answer.
no, no. Jokes aside, I mean, KL, particularly overseas, has been an asset in red ball cricket. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He has kind of played a role in trying to kind of fit into the scheme of things when Rahul Dravid was a coach. So not totally a disaster carrying KL around. Not that we are spoiled for choices, and
Hmm.
especially in the absence of Rohit Sharma, you need some bit of experience there. So, in the present set of circumstances, people are more irritated because if you talk about KL right now, the one that's coming immediately to my mind is that last dismissal. Where he lifted his bat and the ball went from between his pads, and then people were like, the people that I was sitting with and watching the game, they were like, "What the hell was he doing?" Right? So when things like these happen, they just get etched in our minds. They never go away for a long time, and especially then with a result like 3-0, it further depresses you, and then you tend to bring it all out on performances like these. So no wonder KL is under a bit of heat right now. And don't bring IPL into the picture right now. I'm not like because the poor guy is suffering on all fronts. So nothing is looking good for him. So let's cut this. Let's bring red ball cricket aside. From that aspect, I'm saying KL is going to be an asset because you need experience out there. And tell me how many guys in this, at the start of this conversation, you asked Manuja what she thinks about Cheteshwar and Rahane. I'm a fan of both what they brought. I'm a huge Ajinkya Rahane backer. I've always loved the guy to the extent that in South Africa in 2018 when Ravi Shastri had dropped him, I was like, my fuse had gone off. As a Centurion, I was after Ravi. I was like, why? Why did you do this? Right? But having said all that, it's okay. You understand that the time has come for a transition, which is fine. You want to move on at some point in life. The point is, was Indian cricket in a position, or had they wrapped their head around the idea that what will it take for them to move on, from
From
Pujara
Pujara.
and Rane? Was that succession plan in place? Today we talk so much about this word succession when it comes to Virat and Rohit in the squad and how they're going to go out, and do we have a succession plan in place? Did we have a succession plan in place when we were saying goodbye to Pujara and Rane? I don't think we did, right? And from whatever Test cricket we played post that, and wherever we have suffered, I think every single time Pujara's absence comes back to hurt us. Although saying this, we still haven't played a tournament or a series as important as the one that we are stepping into. From that perspective, I think experience is what is going to matter, especially in the absence of Rohit. And I don't think having KL around is a doubtful this thing at any,
You know,
any
honestly, if I have to pick a guy who could bat time potentially, you would look at Shubman Gill, you would look at somebody like KL Rahul. But again, it's a matter of confidence for Rahul. Usko pata hai kya karna hai crease par, but sometimes he just messes it up in his head too much. Again, you look at that India A game, what he was trying to do to avoid the ball and then ended up playing the ball onto his stumps. These things happen with KL Rahul, and they happen a lot more with KL Rahul than with any other batter, really. And it's just so frustrating to watch because he's absolutely a fantastic batter when he's on song. उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. Dopayan, there's one question that keeps on coming up time and again. This Dhruv Jurel question is going to be a big talking point. A lot. We had a show earlier on as well. A lot of viewers were asking why not Dhruv Jurel for the first test, and I was having a conversation on X as well because look, I am a fan of Dhruv Jurel. Played brilliantly against England. And he's played well in India A against Australia A as well. And at some point, I would want to see him in Australia in the playing 11. लेकिन अभी थोड़ा सा hype ज़्यादा हो रहा है. And the Indian team management, you have covered enough cricket. The Indian team management, be it Gambhir, be it previous coaches, previous captains, current captains, Indian team management doesn't work like that. आप कोई भी एकदम से थोड़े से रन बना देगा, आप एकदम से अपने प्लान्स को छोड़ के उसको प्लेइंग 11 में नहीं घुसा दोगे. Do you see Dhruv Jurel before the third or fourth or maybe fifth test?
No, but Chetan, if Rohit Sharma is not playing the first test, then it's almost a given that KL Rahul is open. Oh,
Okay.
I don't think Abhimanyu Ishwan is opening. He did not get runs in 4 innings in the India A
Yeah.
game, and I think the team management has more or less made up their mind that they are going to go with the experience and
Mm.
the class of KL Rahul at the top of the order. That leaves us at number six. Number six में आपका choice क्या है? You have Sarfaraz Khan and Dhruv Jurel. So
Mm.
Dhruv, I think like Sarfaraz Khan scored that 150, but
Mm.
after that, I think he could be a suspect against pace bowling. And Dhruv
Okay.
Jurel showed his temperament, played well, and if Rohit Sharma is not playing the first test, then I think Dhruv Jurel is playing as the number six. I do not think mm, uh, there is any doubt about it, unless they want to suddenly spring a surprise and have somebody like a Washington Sundar or somebody who can bowl a bit and all those things. I don't think that's going to happen in the first test. They will need a batter who is running on form.
Yeah.
Quality दिख रहा है. He played well in the India A game. I think he should play unless he is very poor in the practice sessions, because these practice sessions will be very important. They will be
Okay.
looking at it like a hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manuja, Sarfaraz will be given that long rope क्योंकि वो 150 रन बनाया. You just don't drop a batter like that, on a whim and fancy. And ठीक है, Dhruv Jurel will have to wait for his chance. Um, you know, do you see any changes, or do you have a different opinion from what Dopayan has said regarding this Dhruv Jurel middle order situation? Once again, you're always on mute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Dhruv Jurel versus Sarfaraz Khan. For me, I'll go with Jurel immediately. In the middle
Okay.
order, in Australian conditions. Uh, okay, Srini has something else to say.
No, no,
But
no, wait,
yeah,
wait. You finish first. You finish first. We'll go to Srini then. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'll go with Jurel.
Okay.
Yeah, the
You'll
Mumbai
go with
wants to say
Jurel.
something.
No, no, no,
I'll
wait.
go
You
with
finish first. You want to go with Jurel. Give us a reason.
no,
No, don't just be black and white.
no, no, no. One conditions. Okay, temperament.
Hmm.
I feel, I mean, from what I've seen of Dhruv domestically or in his brief international career, I think he has it in him to adapt better to the Australian conditions in the middle order. Stick
No,
it out
again,
if it comes to it.
no, no. Again, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I think he's fantastic batter. Brilliant technique. He's opened the innings as well in domestic cricket. उसमें भी आप कोई शक नहीं कर सकते. Might as well open the innings with Dhruv Jurel. I would want to see that. My point is not that. My point is that's not how the Indian team works. People can say
Yes.
what they want. Brilliant temperament. He's batted so many balls. He's batted so many deliveries. नहीं. Somebody who scored 150 in a test match, आप उसको क्या कह के drop कर दोगे कि इंडिया ए के लिए रन बनाया है? On what basis are you dropping Sarfaraz? Yes, आप कह सकते, the viewer, the fan, the viewers who are commenting here, they can say, okay, you know what, Sarfaraz can be suspect against quality pace bowling. I believe that. Sarfaraz can be suspect against quality bowling, but that cannot be an excuse before the first innings of a 5-test series to leave somebody who scored 153 matches ago. Dopayan? And also, let's take Kanan's comment here. He says Aussies bring in Hanscom when they travel to subcontinent because of his technique. Jurel has shown good technique to play in Australia. He played 300 balls in warm-up. Why not Jurel then? Exactly my point. Just because somebody's played 300 balls, you can't drop a batter who scored 153 matches ago. You might drop him at some point,
No,
but not on that.
if you are talking about the 150, there were 4 innings after that in which he hardly got anything.
But they
So
were not in Australia.
no, no,
In Australia.
no, but there has to be something that shows that he is getting runs in Australia also. Like if you are going with a clean slate with both for Sarfaraz and Jurel to Australia, then you see current form where
Hmm.
Jurel has done well, and
Hmm.
then you see them at the nets. It's as simple as that. Waka, bouncy tracks. You see them at the nets against your Indian bowlers, and you
Hmm.
see who is in better form. I think,
Okay.
and what I have seen of Sarfaraz, nothing against Sarfaraz Khan, very gutsy player, and a good player of spin bowling. But against quality pace in Australia, boss, I have my doubts. I
I
think
agree with you.
Jurel has
I
shown
agree.
enough in that India A game that he has the temperament to succeed, and
I agree
and
with
they
you
have
on both
sent
accounts.
him, and they have sent him early with a purpose. I think so. उसको
Okay,
भेजा ही है इसलिए.
yeah, Gopan, we've been on few tours together. I absolutely agree with you. Jurel probably should be in the playing 11 as early as possible. I also agree with you. Sarfaraz against quality pace bowling can be suspect. But my point, and I think Srini, I want to bring you in here because we know this is not how the Indian team management, just picks its side. It doesn't. And I think KL Rahul going back to opening is a prime example of that.
Why is my glass perennially, half empty then being half full? Okay, the point is Sarfraz has runs under the belt. He's done well. I don't see any reason whatsoever. So why are we even discussing the possibility that, oh, so let Sarfraz first get his chance and let him not do it and then we can. No, I want Sarfraz to be out there for the first two test matches. He's done what he deserves to be there. He's got the runs
Absolutely.
under
Yeah.
the belt, and Sarfraz Khan deserves to be there. Play first two test matches of this series without any question in the middle order. If he fails, then we'll take forward. I don't see any reason why Sarfraz should fail. In fact, when other batsmen have failed, Sarfraz has stood there, got the runs, and I have full confidence in that boy. Much has been said, ये यहाँ नहीं खेल सकता, वहाँ नहीं खेल सकता, ये कंडीशन में नहीं, वो कंडीशन में नहीं. पहले उसको मौका तो दो, उसको तरसा तरसा के आपने टीम में लाया. You finally given him a chance. You finally given him some kind of sustainability out there. Give him a chance. Allow him to continue. Let him breathe. He's good.
Yeah, I absolutely agree because that's how the see again. I might have my doubts, just as the viewers. I might have my personal doubts and my personal opinions, but this is what the Indian team management will also think. And I'm talking about the captain and the coach and everyone. And they'll say, "Ki boss Sarfraz deserves to be there for the first two test matches, have 3 or 4 innings under his belt, and then they'll take a call." And I think this is where the Dhruv Jurel question will come down to. But again, we have a full week to go before the first test match. Srini, do we have time for a question that comes straight to you? Will Rohit Sharma play the first test or not? You're on mute.
Listen, I really haven't tried specifically finding out. From what I understand, he'll miss the first test, and we all know why. And those
Yeah,
things
of
are
course. I'm
important
just
to know.
asking you a simple question. That's it.
I haven't really gone out and asked, but from what I've heard, it's the first test that he might be taking a break because the gap between the first and the and the second test is very long. He'll be
It's
easily
very long.
kind of,
Yeah,
if it's a couple of days here and there,
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
be in time for
But
that.
but Rohit Sharma, we have a story on him as well. Rohit Sharma is preparing for the series in his own way. He's been working out. He's been batting. He's been training. So he is available to play at a particular time in this series. Yes, but of course there is no clarity on his departure. So we wish him the best in his personal life at the moment, and then we'll hope to see him very very soon on the field as well. Before we finish, of course, the biggest talking point. The biggest talking point in a BGT series has always to be Virat Kohli. So let's have the story on him. आज 30 minute का session किया. And then yesterday also he had a long session where he was focusing on cover drives and front foot defense. And today there was a lot of there was a lot of short ball work that was done by not just by Virat but also the entire team as well. There was a news story earlier on which said this is the farewell tour for Virat Kohli to Australia. Let's get thoughts from Manuja and then Dwapayan as well.
We've been, I mean, everybody can say whatever we want to say that it's going to be his last series in Australia. And that's something we've also said that, yes, this is his farewell series. And I don't think any of us in this room or anybody watching will decide that. But personally, I do think, this is probably the last time we'll see Virat in Australia. But
Yeah.
then, we've, I mean, like I said, we can say anything we want. Probably Gambhir will have a counter for this as well. I'd love to see a counter for this from Gambhir.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, he's had such a good, several good outings in Australia. He's really a guy who's shored up Indian cricket in Australia for us in the last, pre-COVID era, as I would call it. Would like to, for him to go and, thunder down under and, hope to see that at least some good glimpses of the real Virat.
Yeah. Okay.
As an
Dwapayan,
Australian and as a leader.
okay. Dwapayan, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, one thing I'll just tell you, Chetan, like Virat Kohli, like in Barbados this time, I was seeing him. He was struggling in the first. He struggled in the US leg, and when coming to Barbados on a very tricky practice pitch, the way he was batting against Jasprit Bumrah, I wrote in my story also, like if you are a Virat Kohli fan, try to somehow get into the practice session of Virat Kohli. Like he bats so phenomenally well in practice. Yeah. Like because mind free रहता है ना, so this batting is something else in practice. So कर रहा है, but yes, of course, this is his last Australia series.
Yeah.
Let's be
Let's be very honest about it. Yeah,
yeah,
and just because we're talking about the practice sessions, yeah,
yeah,
and we want look, we don't want to be condescending, but yes, 30 minutes is considered to be a long session. Normally, 30 to 45 minutes is considered a long batting session because जब आप nets में batting करते हैं, uh, it's not like a cricket match जहाँ पे आप singles भी ले रहे हैं, you are on the other end, there are drinks break, there are overs break. No, a batter faces the ball, moves the ball out, then he's ready to take the next ball. So in 30 minutes, they are working on particular things. ऐसा नहीं है, they are trying to test themselves कि वो century बनाने का stamina है या नहीं. They're working on particular things. They ask for a particular delivery to be bowled to them, whether it's the short ball, whether it's the incoming delivery, outgoing delivery, whether they want to work themselves against spin. So they work on particular things. All of us have been lucky to watch Virat Kohli bat in the nets. He's always working on particular things. And in that sense, 30 minutes to 45 minutes is considered to be a very long session in the nets. Usually, net practice sessions don't last more than 2 to 3 hours. And that's for the entire 15 to 18 man squad. Hopefully, Avdesh, आपको clear हो गया होगा कि 30 minutes is a long session. Sports fan says, can you please discuss his Perth 150 knock? I was there. Dwapayan, were you there? Srini, were you there? I know Manuja wasn't there. Dwapayan, were you there on that tour? Okay. That Perth 150 knock, absolutely brilliant knock. I have trouble, discussing whether the Adelaide second innings knock was a better one or the Perth knock was the better one. I somehow rate the Adelaide knock a little higher because it was the second innings and it was turning square. It was turning square and you were going for victory, and that was an immense knock in Adelaide. But the Perth knock, with the kind of situation, he was the captain. He had picked 4 fast bowlers. India was in all sorts of trouble. That 150, that was Virat Kohli at his prime. That was Virat Kohli at his prime as captain, as batter in Australia, making a stand for his team as Virat Kohli, the person around which the entire Indian team revolved. And that was one of the, yeah. If you have to think about prime Virat Kohli, that was Perth. Yes,
yeah,
Gopal.
yeah, Chetan, like because this talk is coming up, I think the Adelaide knock was. In time we will probably discuss the Adelaide knock with more in detail, because that is the innings which changed the mindset of Indian cricket.
Yeah.
We can go for a 400 plus chase on the final
Yes.
day. That was
Yeah.
unthinkable. So this
Yeah.
guy did, and he had the choice of going for a draw after tea when he was batting with Riddhiman Saha, but he said no, I do not believe in draws. जो आज बेन स्टोक्स बोल रहा है वो विराट कोहली 2015 में he had said it, and we were coming from an era where
Yeah.
Dhoni was becoming slightly negative in his test captaincy. So वहां से
Yeah. Yeah.
that entire shift in mindset, that was a standout, and the way he batted 4th innings, brilliant innings that changed Indian cricket. I think just the way Tendulkar's 130 odd in Chennai changed Indian cricket in a way in against Pakistan, 1999.
No.
It's of that
Yeah.
quality, that caliber. Yeah.
And I'm hoping the question was about that test innings because he did not score 150 in that match. It was 120 something that he scored. But I hope it's the test match knock that our viewer that our that question was about. But absolutely brilliant knock. India lost its openers early, and yeah, amazing. And yes, Priyanshu ka comment aaya hai, what shot Saha played. Yes, that was not a great shot from Riddhiman Saha, but for that shot, maybe who knows, India could have won that test match. But yeah, these knocks are what we'll remember Virat Kohli for, and we hope that we see some sort of that Virat Kohli in this series on this tour. Um, So yeah, I think that's about sums up our show for today. Thanks to everyone for joining in. K. Srinivas Rao, Group Sports Editor. We have Manuja Virappa and Dopayan Datta as always. What we'll do is, well, we'll take one final comment, I guess. Producer कह रहा है ये मत भूलो, ये मत भूलो. Ponting takes a fresh dig at Gambhir. I think the hair on the back of his neck was already standing up. We got a bit of history as well. He took a chance to fire back at me. He seems anxious and looking for a reason to retaliate. Srini, is Gambhir looking for a reason to retaliate, or is that just Gambhir?
That's Gautam Gambhir.
Yeah,
You give it. It's like a wall there. Like you give him something, it'll come back to you. I mean, it's as good as that. So Ricky Ponting can look at as much hair he wants to look at the back of anybody's neck. The point is, with Gautam, you know what's coming back at you. I think no surprises there.
I'm just
And this is the template for what is going to happen throughout this entire series.
yeah.
And the more I think they are learning Hindi, the more they should be getting ready for some depression.
I'm just waiting for Glenn McGrath's prediction of 5-0. अब वो 5-0 Australia के लिए होगा, final India के लिए होगा. We'll have to wait and watch. But on that note, we'll sign off from today's episode. We have India South Africa tomorrow. We'll be discussing some highlights from and of course more news from Perth as it happens on the BGT. But next week will all be about the build up to the first test. And hopefully we can get some special episodes for you there. Thank you so much for all of you to join us, and as well as all our panelists, K. Srinivas Rao, Dopayan Datta, and Manuja Virappa. This is me, Chetan Nirula, signing off. See you guys soon.
Yeah, guys.